Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, hi, my name's Claire and this is Yoli. I make videos all about houseplant care, sharing tips and tricks I've learned over the years to help keep your plants happy and healthy. And this video is another early morning one. When it gets to about 9 o'clock here at the moment, it gets so unbelievably warm and it's near impossible to film. So I thought I would just wake up early, show you some plant updates, do some plant chores, have a chat, and yes, I hope you enjoy it. Let's get into it. So there's a lot going on with my plants at the moment and I could do a full updates video. In fact, maybe I will at some point soon, but I've just chosen a few to show you this morning. And the first one's my Hoya undulata reds that I got from Arrowed Market. And as you can see, it's got 2 new beautiful leaves coming in, and I'll pop a picture in, but they only started coming up literally like a day and a half ago, and they were so teeny. And every single day, I've just looked at them throughout the day at various points, and it's like you can just see them growing. They are growing so unbelievably quickly. And I've just woken up and I've looked at them this morning, and they've pretty much doubled in size from how they were yesterday. So yeah, I'm really excited about this plant. It's such an unusual one, and to be completely honest, I don't know if it's one that I would have chosen for myself if I'd seen it, because I don't know, it wouldn't grab me. But since I've had it, I have really grown to love it, and especially now that it's giving me new growth, I'm very excited, and it's very different from anything else that I own. So yeah, I'm really chuffed about that, and I'll keep you updated because I can't really imagine how my bigger Hoyas are going to grow, because all of the Hoyas in my collection that I had before my Arrowed Market order, I know I got some crazy ones in that order, but before them were quite small, quite immature, and I feel like they were just a little bit more predictable in their growth pattern. But for example, like this one, my Sarawak as well, I have no idea how they're going to grow. So this is quite exciting for me. And the second one is a bit of a weird one. So I have decided that I would really like to grow an indoor fig tree, and my mum's got a big fig tree out in the front garden, and I decided to take a cutting about 2 weeks ago. I had no idea if it would work. I've never tried to propagate a fig tree before. When I first brought it inside, the bigger leaves that I took the cutting of died off in a couple of days, and I kind of thought, okay, probably not going to work. And in the last few days, it's given me a beautiful little leaf there, and it's actually got some new growth coming behind it as well. So yeah, I'm really excited about that. I know they're not conventional indoor plants, but I Googled it and I saw a few people were growing them as indoor plants, and I would just love a big indoor tree when I move to my new place. And I know it's probably going to take a little while, but I thought it was worth giving it a go. And I just love the shape of its leaves. They're just so beautiful. I'll put a clip in of the fig tree outside actually, so that you'll get an idea if you haven't seen one before. But it's just such a stunning plant, and I'm really hoping this one's gonna continue to do well. So yeah, again, I'll keep you updated. There's no sign of roots or anything like that yet, but I'm guessing it's doing something. And then the next one is my Scindapsus Silver Hero, and this is the one that I was really worried about when I first got back from my time away, because I came back and the leaf had curled. I was like, oh, I just got this plant to a place where it was starting to look a little bit healthier, and I thought it was doomed. And it's actually now, as you can see, it's got a really nice root system on it in there, and I kind of did a little bit of digging down into the moss, and finally it's got a new growth point, and that makes me so happy, because I really at one point thought that all hope for this plant was lost. And yeah, I'm really excited. She's given me some new growth, so yes. And then the last update that I'll do is that I put my Monstera dubia, on a new plank. And I was actually going to do this for a repot and chat, but I've never done it before, and I kind of wanted to try it myself before I did it on camera, because I didn't really know how to go about it, but it seems to have worked. And actually already, in fact, I don't think I'll be able to get this on, no, I won't be able to get this in shot, but I will take a clip and I'll put it in. I can actually see already she's starting to put little aerial roots out and grip on, which is so good. So what I did for this, because as I say, I'd never done it before, I'd seen people doing it different ways. Some people were just kind of extending the current plank. I gave her a completely new plank, and I was so worried about taking her off the plank. I was really worried about accidentally damaging her, snapping her, breaking the kind of bonds that she had with the old plank. But I just very gently from the top down kind of peeled her off. Honestly, it took me absolutely ages because I was being so careful. But then I got the new plank, put it in the soil, tied her on, and it's really hard to tie her so that she's flat against the plank, and obviously I wanted to make sure she was as flat as possible so that she could grip on. And so I tied some wool fairly loosely, as you can see, like there, and then to kind of tighten it up, and this looks a bit silly, but to tighten it up at the back, I've just put like bits of kitchen roll to kind of help the string pull it in a little bit, if that makes sense. And I'm sure there's a better way of doing it, but for now it seems to be doing the job. And she's also, there we go, you can see at the top, giving me a new leaf, and that's literally been in the last couple of days since I did this. So I'm really hoping that she's just gonna go crazy now, and she's gonna completely climb because she's so beautiful. I just really adore this plant. And I was actually going through questions because I thought in this video, when I start repotting, I might go back through some of the old questions that I haven't answered in other videos. And one of the questions was, why do you need so many plants? And I was kind of thinking about that. I mean, it feels obvious to me, but I was thinking about it and I was like, what is the actual reason? And I think because I've said it so many times before, but my self-care, my kind of like meditative routine is pretty much completely surrounding plant care. Like, I can be very bad at being still and just kind of grounding myself, being with my thoughts. And I find it so easy to do when I'm doing things with plants. I find it really easy to tune into myself, and it has just been the most incredible thing in the world for my mental health. And on the days, even now, when I wake up feeling quite angsty, because I've spoken about it before, I do suffer with anxiety, and often in the mornings is the time where I will feel it the most. I will wake up, I'll come through here, and even if I'm feeling a bit, I'll be like, okay, right, what shall I do? What shall I do? And I'll go around, I'll see what's going on with my plants. I will do some watering, do some pruning, do some propagating. And it just, even if it doesn't completely get rid of it, it just puts me in so much of a better headspace. And it's something that, and I've said this before as well, but it's honestly something that I wish I'd found sooner. And to answer the question, I think the reason that I have so many plants is because, firstly, it's an addiction. I can't stop, like I cannot stop buying plants, but also I run out of things to do if I don't have loads of them, and I need things to do because it is my routine. It's what keeps me going. So I've got a lot of them, and I feel like I will, especially when I move, I will continue to kind of build my jungle until it feels that it's at a point where it's not overwhelming, if that makes sense. Because some days I will kind of spend a few hours doing like watering or whatever, and then I'll run out of things to do and I'll be like, okay, I need more. I feel like I need more today. And yeah, that's why I have so many, because I really enjoy plant care. But yes, so right, I'm going to get my potting mat out. That is that question answered. I'm going to get my potting mat out and I'm going to do some potting up of things. Before we continue, I just wanted to pop in here and say a huge thank you to today's video sponsor, BetterHelp. For those of you who don't know, BetterHelp is a flexible online therapy service that, through a series of tailored questions, matches you with a therapist that's right for you. You can select your preferences. For example, if you'd like to work with somebody within the LGBT+ community and let them know how you'd like to communicate. For example, if you'd like to do weekly video sessions, then that's absolutely fine. But also, if you just prefer to speak to somebody via text or phone from time to time, then that is fine too. I'm personally having weekly sessions with my therapist, and whether I'm going through something specific, having a bout of anxiety, or just feel like I need a little bit of extra support, I honestly get so much out of them. As you guys know, I've spoken a fair amount about mental health on my channel, and having been in therapy with BetterHelp for the past couple of months, it's honestly a service I couldn't recommend highly enough. If anybody fancies checking them out, I'll leave all the details in the description box below. Right, on with the video. So the first one that I think is probably going to be ready for a repot is my Fishbone Cactus. This one has been ridiculously fast growing, and I have always had to stop myself from buying a big Fishbone Cactus, one of the ones that kind of trails down and looks beautiful, because I'm like, no Claire, you have one, it will get to that size. And she's getting there. Like, look at this, she is getting there. So I want to kind of encourage her to keep growing big and full and healthily. So I think I'm gonna just take a look at her roots and hopefully get her in a slightly bigger pot. As always, I forgot. And as I say, for this video, I went back through some of the questions, planty questions that I haven't answered in other repotting chats, and picked a few out that I thought would be quite fun. Oh, wow. Yeah, quite fun to answer. So I'll go through them in a moment. Okay, so her root system's quite thin and fine. I do think, yeah, I mean, oh, okay. She hasn't had a water in a few days, so you can see. Okay, there we go. I don't think I'm gonna break it up that much just because, oh, maybe I'll do a little bit of breaking up. It's just, it looks quite delicate and I don't want to mess with it if it's gonna set the plant back in any way. I should have really given her a water last night. Quite a lot of the time, if I'm gonna repot a plant, I will water them the night before just to kind of help soften things up a bit. It just makes everything so much easier, but I completely forgot about that. So yeah, it's all kind of quite dry and not very easy to work with. So the first question was house burning. You can only save 5 plants. Which do you choose? Oh, I'm so indecisive. You know, I'm so indecisive. And my favorite plants change a lot. I think just like going with my gut, I would say right now, if I could only save 5 plants, it would be my Pepperoni Hope. That one is bringing me so much joy at the moment and I love it so much. My Aglaonema Silver Bay, I think that plant is just beautiful and again, I'm really loving it at the moment. I've kind of got to say my big variegated Monstera because I'm so proud of her. She's so big, although that might be a difficult plant to save because of how big she is. My big Anthurium clarinervium would definitely be one. Oh, and then I guess I'd say my White Princess Philodendron. There would be a lot more that I would probably try to come back for if I could. But yeah, right now those are ones that are bringing me a lot of joy. I mean, there's ones like my variegated Monstera, my White Princess, they always bring me so much joy. I mean, all my plants do, but do you know what I mean? They're kind of consistent favourites of mine. But yeah, ones like the Pepperoni Hope at the moment, I think it's since I did the growth update and I've realised just how quickly she's grown and I just feel so proud of her. And so yeah, I just also love her leaves. I think she's just like the cheekiest, most beautiful plant. I also would love to save my Fishbone Cactus because I love this one so much and I feel bad not including it while I'm holding it. So yeah, let's save this one as well. Yeah, I really wish I'd watered this last night. When the roots are really dry, they're just so much, they don't have as much flexibility and they're so much more prone to breaking. And although a little bit of root breakage isn't the end of the world, because her root system isn't that full, I don't want to break too many. The next question was which plants have you struggled with the most? There's plants that I'm having struggles with at the moment and ones that I've struggled with recently, but I would say as like a type of plants, over the years, I really struggled with peperomia. I think I've said that before, but I had quite a few peperomia plants and none of them seemed to like me. I'm sure I was doing things wrong, but I just thought they were gorgeous, but I could never get them to survive. Touch all the wood, in the last couple of years, I have added quite a few to my collection and they are okay. They are doing well, but it's taken me a while to get to that point. And I think maybe because when I first discovered peperomia, I got quite a few of them and I probably didn't properly research or kind of monitor them in the right way and they all went downhill fairly quickly. But I think because I've kind of gradually built my peperomia collection up now, I propagated my peperomia frost and I think because I propagated that one from a leaf cutting, I kind of got to know it from a very early age, if that doesn't sound too weird. Like I was able to kind of really know it from a very young plant and be super vigilant with it, and once that one got going, then I added quite a few others to my collection, and to touch all the wood, they've been fine. They're actually doing really well now. So that's one that I definitely struggled with for ages. Calatheas as well, and I know that's kind of classic. They can be such dramatic plants, and to be completely honest, even nowadays there's always something going on with my Calatheas. They just, I don't know, they're so temperamental. So although on the whole, again, I'd say they're doing well, they can also be a little bit of a nightmare. In terms of specific plants that I've struggled with recently, I think probably the biggest one, I mean, there's been a few, but the biggest one would be my Philodendron melanochrysum. So that plant had thrips really badly last summer. I chopped that plant up. I had to completely essentially start from scratch, take some cuttings, and then got the main top cutting back to a point where it was a really decent, beautiful plant. And then before I went away on holiday, I wasn't quite sure whether or not, I mean, it wasn't quite ready for a water. It probably needed to be watered in another few days, but I was like, oh, would it be better to water it now, or would it be better to risk coming back to it completely dried out? And I took the risk, I watered it, and then I went away for a week and a half, and then came back to that plant looking really unhappy. And when I checked the roots, I did this as a video over on my Patreon, but when I checked the roots, they were black, absolutely black. Yeah, it was totally my own fault, but I feel like it's been kind of one battle after another with that plant, and I am propagating it again. I've propagated some wet sticks, I've propagated some leaf cuttings. I've got a beautiful top cutting actually in my cabinet that you can see, ooh, there. And it seems to be doing okay. I'm not quite sure if it's rooting yet, but it hasn't died back, and I really hope it's savable. I love that plant so much, but it is one that I've had ongoing struggles with. There are some slightly bigger, thicker roots kind of in the middle in the root ball, so I'm just going to kind of encourage them, if I possibly can, to just loosen up and branch out a little bit. The Fishbone Cactus is definitely one of my thirstier cacti, and also definitely fastest growing. I mean, it's ridiculously fast growing and has given me so much new growth in the time that I've had it. I've also propagated it several times and it's done really, really well. And yeah, as I say, I just think it's such an unusual, such a great plant, and it's super easy to come by. It's not that expensive, and I just think it's awesome. I think it's awesome. The next question is, have you ever snuck plants into the house? Many, 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 many times. So when I was with my ex, he always was saying, okay, we've got too many plants, Clay, you need to stop now. And I would always, I was so sneaky. And this is why I say it's an addiction, because I was so unbelievably sneaky. I would find so many ways to get plants into the house. I mean, the easiest one was to wait until he was at work and I had a day off and I could be like, oh, okay, right, plant time. What I would do a lot is, if I had new plants and I didn't want him to notice them, I would take all of my plants either into the bathroom or outside to water them, and then I would just bring the new ones in when I brought them all back in, and I'd be like, oh, I might have a rearrange so that he might not notice that there were new plants in places. I have done it here as well at my mum's, which I know isn't good, because I know, bless her heart, she's been so unbelievably amazing at letting me literally take over her conservatory and letting me keep all my plants here. But I don't know, sometimes I just see something and I'm like, oh my goodness, especially if you see an amazing plant for a really good price, like a wishlist plant, and you just have to get it. So yeah, like for example, when I went to Exeter and I did 2 Houseplant Tour UK episodes in the space of 2 days, I came back with, oh my goodness, I think I came back with about 7 or 8 new plants, and I bought her a garden plant from Fermoy's Garden Centre to kind of butter her up a bit, but the other ones I was bringing my bags down the steps and I would just kind of have a plant in a bag and I would kind of tuck one behind my back. And yeah, it's the people around you that don't get why you need to keep buying them. And yes, as I say, have definitely done that many times. I'm sure I've thought of other creative ways to sneak plants into the house as well. If any of you guys have like funny ways of sneaking plants into the house, then comment them down below, because I think it's hilarious. Like, I know you need to respect the people that you're living with and all that sort of stuff, but at the same time, it's quite funny. So let me know in the comments. Right, okay, so I need to decide what size pot I want to put it in. I mean, that's not a huge difference, and I feel like because it's so fast growing, I might go up one more. So I've got that. Oh, so this is wider, as you can see, and this is deeper, just in case you couldn't notice. And I'm kind of thinking that because its root system doesn't go down that far, ooh, that's the one that's next on the list, perhaps it would be better. Yeah, I think that would actually work quite well. The next question's, what is your fastest growing plant? Oh, I've got a lot that are being very, very speedy at the moment. It is growing season here in the UK, and I've got some that are giving me incredible growth, but I think probably top of the list is my Rhaphidophora tetrasperma. That one is, oh my goodness, it is just out of this world fast. And I know I've had people commenting before saying that plant isn't particularly fast for them. And what I found is when I first got it, the first kind of couple of months that I had it and it was still quite a small cutting, it was quite slow, but once it got going, there was no stopping it. Once it got going, it's giving me at least a new leaf a week, and sometimes leaves will come out and there's already a new one coming out of that one, and it's just being insanely fast. So yeah, I'd say that's probably my top one. But then I've got other ones, like for example, this has been, for a cactus, very fast. My spider plants as well, one of them I'm going to be tackling in a moment. They've been quick. But yeah, as I say, I think my top one would be Repot tetrasperma. Someone also asked what my favourite common plants were. I've got absolutely loads. Like I know I've got quite a few rare plants in my collection as well, but I don't kind of, I don't know if value is the right word. I don't like appreciate them any more than I do my common ones, if that makes sense. Like if I like a plant, it doesn't matter if it's common or rare. I'm not ever someone that would just buy something because it's like, oh wow, that's insanely rare, I must have it in my collection. I really just go off like what I think about that plant. Like for example, this one, I love it so much, and I'm pretty sure you can pick these up for a couple of quid nowadays, and I think it's awesome. One of my all-time favorite plants is my, oh, can you see it? My string of pearls, my pothos plants as well, especially my marble queen pothos at the moment. She is just producing the most beautiful variegation, and to me, she always looks like a rare plant. She looks like she should be rare because the balance of variegation and the beautiful kind of splashiness of her leaves is so unusual that you wouldn't expect her to be so cheap and easily accessible. Again, Pepperoni Hope, I said that was one that I would save from the burning building. Pepperoni Hope is just, oh my goodness, it's so great. Oh my God, I'm such a dork. But no, I think it's really amazing. I think it's just, I was going to say too good to be true. Right now, it's one that I am constantly kind of like, my eyes are on it all the time. I go through phases with different plants. If they start doing something exciting or I kind of have a newfound appreciation for them in some way, I will look at that plant like obsessively. I will check on it like 5 times a day and I'll be like, oh, what's new with you? What's changed? And that is what I'm doing with my Pepperoni Hope at the moment. I'm just so impressed. Like I did a growth update of then versus now recently, and putting it next to how it was, I think just over a month ago, it has grown insanely fast. And I think its leaves are just beautiful. I think it's so unusual looking. And yeah, I would say that's definitely one of my favorites. Right, cool. Yeah, I think that pot was a good choice. I think she's looking good. I feel like once she gets going in this pot, I might have to move her up again fairly soon, because I feel like she's getting ready to just go poof and turn into a beast. But for now, I think that will do just fine for her. But yes, right, I will water her after I finish this video, and yes, get her potentially back in a hanger again, because I've got her in I had her in a hanger before, and I just think she looks beautiful as a hanging plant, and I would like to keep her hanging ideally. I have got so many more of my plants into hangers over these last few days. The day that I filmed my last video, when Yoli had woken me up at 1 a.m, when I woke up, I was like, I'm gonna get some plants in hangers, and I think I got about maybe 9 more into hangers, and I mean, I don't think I can actually fit any more up there at the moment. It's very, very, very crowded. I'm just kind of preparing for the move to my new place, which again, at the moment, there's no update apart from the fact that things are moving forward. I don't know if it's going to be a few weeks. I don't know if it's going to be a month. I don't know, but it's all looking good. It's all looking much more hopeful than the last place. But yeah, I will be getting lots of plants into hangers for the time being so that I can get them all hanging as soon as I move in. Yay. But yes, so this is my variegated spider plant, and at the moment it's in a nursery pot, and this is actually, I ran out of stuff to decorate pots with and wasn't feeling particularly creative. So this is an old sleeve of a t-shirt that was going to charity, and I thought I'll make a little pot cover with it, but it's got a little bit water stained and gross. So I think that can go in the bin. But yeah, this one again, probably should have watered this. Okay, it's got a bit of moisture in the soil, so it might be a little bit easier. But as you can see, she is flowering and getting ready to give me some lovely new babies. But whoa, yeah, she's going pretty crazy at the moment. And this is another one that I propagated from my mum's plants. Wow. Oh my goodness. Wow, look at that. Yeah, I propagated this one from a little pup from my mum's plants just over a year ago, I want to say. I think just over a year ago. And she's grown so quickly, and as I say, is now starting to get ready to give me some pups of her own. So I'm very, very, very excited about that. Oh, I'm tempted to soak these roots for just like No, okay, I'll give it a go. I'll give it a go. Yeah, definitely. If you were planning on doing a repot, especially if a plant is quite root bound, then it's a really good idea to just give them a water the night before, because as I say, it just makes everything so much easier. The next question is, if you had to get rid of one plant, what would it be? Okay, I actually, I thought this would be really hard, but I've actually got two that I think I could part with fairly easily. And I feel bad saying that because I just feel bad saying it. But my Philodendron Golden Dragon, I really like it, but I don't know. I don't feel like I've built a relationship with that plant in the time that I've owned it. And I only say built a relationship with just because a lot of my other plants, like pretty much all of my other plants, I feel like I really get them. I don't know. I just kind of feel like I've got a connection with them in some way. And that plant, it's just never really done it for me, which I know is such a shame, and I know it's relatively rare. And I've sent out quite a few cuttings of it, like my giveaway tier over on Patreon. I sent out a cutting of it for someone last month. I swapped a cutting of it with someone for something, and I sent a cutting out to one of my Instagram plant friends as well. It's not that there's nothing wrong with it. It just doesn't do as much for me as most of my other plants do. So I feel like I will probably continue to give cuttings of that plant away and hope that it brings someone else joy. And the second one is another one that's quite rare, my Philodendron scormiferum. And I don't know if it's just because it hasn't looked that healthy for the time that I've had it. Like, it's given me new growth, and the new growth has been a little bit anticlimactic. And it's funny actually, because I know I got a Philodendron code 69686 or whatever it's called. I got one of those in my arid market order, and that one looks really quite similar. Like, its leaf shape and the structure of the plant is really quite similar, and I absolutely love that one. There's just something about the scormiferum that I just don't think is really clicking for me. And so yeah, again, I think there's no point in keeping plants if they're not bringing you joy. I think I'll probably find somebody that likes that plant and send some cuttings out and stuff like that. If any of you are UK based, and I said this last time about my Pepperoni Frost, and oh my god, my messages on Instagram just absolutely blew up, and I hacked that plant to pieces, and I sent out as many as I possibly could, and I will continue to try and spread the plant love. Like, so many of the plants that I got and have in my collection have come from people just being kind and giving me things, and I would like to kind of continue that as much as I can, but I can't hack it to pieces anymore for the time being. So yes, I will cautiously say, if anybody is interested in either of those two plants, potentially drop me a message. And if I don't get back to you, maybe just assume that that's because I've had a quadrillion messages on it, because I don't know, Instagram, I mean, I'm not a massive social media person, and I don't really, although like I've got some lovely plant friends on there, I've got some lovely people that I chat to, that side of it I love. When, especially like with either group chats or requests or like plant issues and stuff like that, when my messages build up, and I do let them build up, like I'm very bad at staying on top of it, I just find myself getting a bit overwhelmed. And I don't know if anybody else gets this, but then I will have this like list of messages that I know I need to respond to, and the thought of responding to them makes me really, really angsty, to the point that I just put it off. And yeah, so I don't really know where I was going with that, but I don't even remember what the question was. Plant that you could get rid of. That's what I was talking about. So yeah, if I had to get rid of a plant or two right now, it would be those ones. But the rest of them, I mean, to be honest, and I was saying this to my mum, I think, the other day. I think it was my mum, I can't remember. But I was saying that because I am just so obsessed with my collection, and because I spend so much time as I possibly can each day with my plants, I feel like I would notice more or less instantly if even like one little thing went missing or a cutting was taken of a plant. I feel like I would notice very, very quickly. And yeah, the Golden Dragon and the Scormiferum, I feel like just kind of lift out of that a little bit. Like, I don't think I would be devastated if they weren't there anymore. So that is my answer to that. Okay, we are getting there with this, but God, I mean, these roots, I love spider plants roots so much, like the mature ones that are just so thick and succulent. They're almost kind of anthurium-y in how dense they are, if that makes sense. But I just think they're so gorgeous. And it's just so satisfying to see such full, healthy roots as well. And I don't know why, like looking at the plants, looking at a spider plant, you wouldn't necessarily, and not that you can tell, but you wouldn't necessarily think it would have such big, beefy roots, because it's quite a kind of fragile, delicate plant, if that makes sense. And yeah, they're absolutely amazing. Somebody asked, do you ever have dreams where your plants are all dead? I don't know if I've had that specific dream, but I have 100% had dreams about my plants and things happening to my plants. And quite often, like, this just shows you how much my mind is on it, but like quite often when I'm falling off to sleep, and you kind of, you know, when you're in that half awake, half asleep kind of dream state, and you have like the thing where you fall over and you wake yourself up or something like that. So many times I have had, I can't think of like specifics, but ones where I've just done something to a really expensive, really rare plant or something like that, and then I've tripped and it's fallen and it's broken. Or yeah, I kind of can't think of specifics, but I know that I've had dreams about plants. There's been times that I've woken up and I've been like, oh God. Have any of you ever had dreams about plants? And if so, let me know what they are. I would love to hear. I've definitely had it when I've been away before, like when I haven't been able to be with my plants, and it's obviously been on my mind a lot, like wondering how they're doing, especially if the weather conditions aren't great. And I've had like horror nightmares where I realised that something awful's happened to them, or something that's just totally out of my control. So I guess that's kind of what you asked. But yeah, as I say, let me know in the comments if any of you have had weird planty dreams. Okay, right, I think I am happy with that. Those roots are just so incredible. And I really hope that this plant is just going to continue to get bigger and bigger and bigger, because again, towards the top of it now, some of that growth coming in is really quite big and mature. It's really, really hard to believe that this was such a teeny tiny little baby plant this time last year. Did I just take it out of that pot? Yes, I did. Right. I guess maybe I could put it in the pot that I was going to put the fishbone cactus in. Yeah, I think that would work. I think that would work well. And the question is, do I have enough soil, or am I going to have to mix up some more? I was going to say, I actually, and this goes against everything I usually say, but this morning I am using the same soil mix for the fishbone cactus and the spider plant. And it's just because I had some mixed up. I am running quite low on soil at the moment. So this is houseplant potting soil, a bit of cactus soil as well, which has got kind of extra sand, extra grit, perlite, coconut core, and horticultural charcoal. I think that's it. I mixed it up about a week ago. But yeah, I feel like both of these plants like something fairly well draining and something that retains moisture fairly well. So I think it's gonna be fine. I think it'll be fine. If I was doing things correctly, I probably would have put a little bit more sand and grit and kind of chunkier stuff into the fishbone cactus. But to be honest, the mix it was potted in before was pretty much the same thing, and that seemed to work okay for it. So I think we're gonna be okay. What's your top wish list plant at the moment? Oh, that's a really good question. I've got a notes thing on my phone, which is basically a list of all the plants that I would love to add to my collection. I'm trying to think. So I think probably at the moment, one that I am ogling over so much, and I keep looking online and I keep looking at pictures of it, it's a, what's it called? A piper. It's a piper, like a piper sylvaticum, but piper, it's a Thai silver or something like that. I can't actually remember the name of it. I'll put a picture in because, oh my goodness, it is so beautiful. And that's one that I feel like I need in my life. I think it's just so, so, so gorgeous. And I've been looking at it for a while, and I think it was Grow Tropical's website I was looking at recently, and I was like, they have it. And I was like, do I do it? But I'm trying to be really, really good as of my House of Koji order. I'm trying to be good about buying new plants at the moment, especially until I move out. Like when I move out, I feel like I'll do a little bit of a splurge if I can afford to, and kind of deck my place out with a few more plants. But because no one will be able to tell me that I can't, which is something I'm so excited about. Yeah, going back to the sneaking plants into your house thing. So firstly, I've never actually lived completely by myself. I moved out of home when I was 17, 18. I moved to London and stayed there for a while, came back about a year and a half later when I finished my course, then moved out again and then came back again, moved out for drama school where I did my degree, and then after about 3.5 years, moved in with did I move home first? I moved home again first. Then I moved in with my ex, and then we broke up, and oh hello. And then I moved back here again. Oh my goodness, there's a little hoverfly. Go away, please. So I have moved and I have come back many, many, many times. And I am very, very excited to have my own space, to be able to just kind of not have to work around flatmates or mums or partners or anything like that, and just kind of do my own thing for a bit. Be a bit selfish, I guess, and just me, Yoli, and all my plants. That's what I'm really, really, really looking forward to. So yeah, what was I saying? Decking my place up with plants, that was it. So yeah, that's what I'm very, very excited about. I'm just super excited to be able to not have to tread on anyone's toes. Like, I think especially at the moment, because I'm trying to do more content creating, make more videos for YouTube and stuff like that. And so my mum's friends are also currently staying. So I've got my mum, her boyfriend, her 2 friends, and I'm filming this early, and I had to say to them, sorry, I need to use this room. Please, can you stay upstairs for 45 minutes while I film a video? And then I often feel like not that I'm putting out half-assed content, but I feel like I can't do things in the way that I would probably like to do them if I was able to be like, right, I'm going to film a really cool video, I'm going to spend all day doing it, because I'm kind of working around other people. And that's fine. Like, I get that that's what happens when you live with other people, and I also get how incredibly lucky I am to be able to be back at home. But sometimes I'm just like, I would just love a bit of my own space. I really love a bit of my own space. But yes, right, don't even know what the question was, but that was my morning vent. That was my morning rant. I actually am really glad that I filmed this morning, because I feel like this has kind of been my waking up process. I don't know if it's just been ridiculously waffly. If it has, I'm sorry, but I feel a lot more energized and awake than I did when I started. So yes, so that is that one. And again, I think I'll probably get this one back in a hanger, because I love the look of it hanging. I love the texture of it. I think it's just so gorgeous. So yes, I will probably make some more hangers tonight. But yeah, I've got other things that I could have done, but I am approaching the time that I need to stop filming so that people can come and make breakfast. But yeah, I'll probably save the other things for another video soon. If you've got any other questions you want answering in the next video, obviously I will put a thing on my Instagram story and you can let me know there, but also comment them down below and I will try and include them in my next video. But yeah, I really, really hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please make sure to give it a thumbs up. Why did I just forget what I was saying? Thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, have a lovely day, and I will see you in the next video.